black horror movies have become stale, and a lot of it's the same beats of. Let me tell you a story about somebody who got lynched or got killed by white people, and that is the epicenter of the scariness for the story. Irvin, I'm over it. I'm over watching those. Like I'm tired of it. I can't do it anymore.
You sound like you're talking about slave movies.
I don't know how many times you can like tell a backstory where somebody got lynched and I still care. And I don't know, maybe because I'm a black man from the South, maybe because one of the questions I had was, is it because I'm a black man from the South that I find these movies and these stories not to be very interesting just because I can go talk to my grandmother or anybody old and they can tell me a story on the same par. Yeah, homeboy got dragged out the house because he did such and such, you know. I just too many stories floating around, you know.
Horror films have they have multiple subgenres. And in the subgenres, you've got the Catholic exorcism.
Yes.
Something having to do with demonology. You know, they got Legion. They got that one where in the catacombs in under Rome or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, they got that kind of vibe, you know, Christendom, mythology, all different subgenres, but they all are drawing from different worlds. So if you got found footage with witchcraft in
Blair Witch Project.
Called? Thank you.
Yes.
And then you got found footage with the demonology and it's lightweight demon stuff with paranormal activity.
Yes.
So you got two whole different flavors. Whereas when you go to all of these racial horrors, the combination of different tropes and subgenres isn't interesting enough from version to version.
Yeah.
Right. And Jordan Peele, you know, with Get Out, obviously he changed the game. And he really, you know, there's some depth to his metaphor, to his allegory. That's not easy to replicate, but they're like, oh, do it again. You know, Hollywood says it's just green light and garbage. And when you're taking from a template so complex, so well done, it's not gonna work. You're not introducing anything new, right? You're using the same. Oh, it's got to be about race, which means it's about black people, white versus white people, which means you got 400 years of history to draw on, and the same sins repeated over and over again.
And it's not that much. Like 400 years is not that much history. Like if I do the Catholic Church,
I mean, you're going back. You know, you're limiting yourself to such a limited episode in time, limited horrors to explore, and the horrors are so real, and like the impact of them so, you know, readily felt. It's not like entertaining.
Yeah.
Like Antebellum isn't like, ooh, like I'm scared. It's like I'm a little perturbed. Like I'm just like watching, like 12 Years a Slave isn't a fun movie.
No,
that's a real slave narrative and like real history, you know, artistic portrayal of a real event. I like that. But you're trying to make something very real and very like visceral pain into like popcorn fare and like, ooh, aren't you mad at white people? Yes, I am. It's not fun, okay? Yeah, The Exorcist is fun because the little girl's head turns around. Nothing about that hits me right here. And do it
to him. Welcome back to Relative Conscious. My name is Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Shout out to DJ for making our beat.
At DW Made That on social media.
And follow us on social media.
That's at Kinda Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the engagement things. And we're talking about scary movies. It's spooky season.
Yeah, so my hot take is that black horror movies have become stale. Instead of gotten to the point where it's the same story over and over again, and I'm tired of watching Urban.
Okay, so I've seen. And it's funny you say black horror. Let's define the genre, because I mean I know what a horror movie is. You know, Friday the 13th, Saw, Exorcism, classics, staples, whatever. You know, game changers in the horror genre. What's it called? Final Destination. But you seem to be acting like there's like, you know, like they just named, right? All those monumental horror films. Paranormal Activity. I cannot name such a list off the top of my head when it comes to black movies, horror movies.
Well, basically it's the Jordan Peele-esque movies. So Jordan Peele does Get Out, and everybody and mom and daddy, which is a black term for every Hollywood producer out there, is like, well, give me that. I want that. right? And then he does Us, and everyone's like, "Well, I definitely need that now," right? And so a couple shows, been a couple shows that are like this. Lovecraft, Them.
Yes.
Do you remember Them, which is when the black couple moves into
I
South
pretty
Side
much
Chicago?
refused to watch it. It felt very tailcoat righty, you know. Like, oh, it's like that one movie that you like,
Yeah.
except it's just more black scary stuff. I'm good on
Uh,
it.
Antebellum, and then
Mm.
this one, and then I kind of put what's that one with Octavia Spencer in there?
That one was a thriller, not a horror movie. And I saw it in the
Yes.
theater. I paid money for that, and I mean, it's a goofy thriller. I don't know. I think I categorize that, and this is a video for another time, as a
Yeah.
race thriller, which I
Yes.
absolutely love. And just a trash movie where the conflict is between
Yes.
either a crazy black person and a white victim, or a crazy white person and a black victim, and then it just all goes down. That's Mama, because
Yeah.
Ma is what it's called, because
Yes.
most of the kids are white. Ma isn't a horror film like that, and like I said, I like the race thriller thing, but you're talking about in horror where there's the supernatural, there's a suspense, but it's like garish. It's like, oh no, despair, as opposed to just
Yes.
like the gotcha moments of a thriller.
Yeah. It's like what's that movie where the white man sells in their house and won't leave?
Yeah, that's a thriller though.
Yeah.
Invader or something like
Yes.
that.
Invader. Yeah. That one's hilarious. But that's I
Intruder.
guess that's in the race.
Intruder.
Intruder. That's in the race thrillers column, I guess.
Yeah, yes, I love those.
But I'm talking about Lovecraft, Them, Candyman falls in this
Yes, a new
category.
one. Yeah.
Many of these movies have Jordan Peele's fingerprints on them. Movie/TV shows. Annabelle, another one, which has what's the name? The lovely artist,
Janelle Monáe,
Janelle Monáe. Yes,
star of it. It's a piece of
yes.
trash.
And so the central theme of a lot of these movies are that white people are evil and scary, or be doing some weird, white people stuff, basically. And a lot of it's the same beats of, let me tell you a story about somebody who got lynched or got killed by white people. And that is the epicenter of the scariness for the story. Irvin, I'm over it. I'm over watching those. Like I'm tired of it. I can't do it anymore.
You sound like you're talking about slave movies.
I don't know how many times you can like tell a backstory where somebody got lynched and I still care. And I don't know, maybe because I'm a black man from the South, maybe because one of the questions I had was, is it because I'm from a black man from the South that I find these movies and these stories not to be very interesting? Just because I can go talk to my grandmother or anybody old and they can tell me a story on the same par. Yeah, homeboy got dragged at the house because he did such and such. I just too many stories floating around.
Let me give a couple. Well, observation one,
Yeah.
and then observation two. There we go. Yeah, because there's no point of contention. I agree with you. Observation one, Jordan Peele, when you say his fingerprints are on it, he's associated with, he's either has some production role.
Yeah, Candyman he produces, right?
Yeah, the name executive producer is an odd term in Hollywood. It doesn't mean a single thing. Like, once you say director of photography, I know exactly what job you're doing. But when you say executive producer, you could have done a lot or nothing.
Yes.
But
because real quick, Harvey Weinstein's executive producer, his only job was to get the movie a Academy Award. So like his job wasn't to like read over the script. It was, once award season come around, I know who for you to talk to.
Wild.
Yeah.
So that's Jordan Peele's associated that way, and or it's people he's working with. In the case of Antebellum, which is a tragic dumpster fire of a film, he produced Us alongside, and I think Get Out alongside the producers of Antebellum. So like they were a part of the team, and they're like, we can do a Jordan Peele joint because we were on the team. It's us.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're Jordan Peele pieces. That's why it's a Jordan Peele film.
Yeah.
Because it's an essential character, essential element to make it actually good. Observation two. So Jordan Peele's got this. I just don't want to sully his name. He's talented. Also, his race horror, or not race horror, his black horror film number 2 isn't about racism. Like race plays a little role because it's the white family, keeping up with the Joneses. I think they're actually named the Joneses.
Yeah.
That's it though. It's
they
not
get slaughtered
that
in
deep.
their house. Yeah.
Yeah, they die, and then like that part's over. Then it's just black people against black people, and there's the greater commentary. So yeah, Jordan Peele's hands are clean, but everybody who's trying to bite his style, cut it out. What?
I'm about to say, what your first point reminds me of the post Tupac world of rapping and the post Jordan world of basketball.
Yeah.
So, because I know more of basketball, basically you had Vince Carter, T Mac, Stoudemire Swift. That's the name. You guys remember who that is?
Amari Stoudemire.
Stoudemire Swift. Sorry,
it's a different man with the name Stoudemire.
Yes. It was a bunch of bald headed or two guards who were supposed to be the next Jordan.
Yeah.
Besides Kobe, no one else came close, and they were just jacking up a lot of shots and were not efficient. Vince Carter, great in-game dunker, horrible player to have your main guy on your team. And so, but that's what it was. They're like, yeah, this is gonna be next Jordan. Even Steve Francis is supposed to be next Jordan. You know how short Steve Francis is? Yeah. And so that was the world of basketball for like 2000, 2008, maybe. We kept looking for a next Jordan. And then it was LeBron, who was not Jordan. LeBron is more Magic Johnson than anybody else. Or Larry Bird, yeah. But rapping had the same issue. He had all these sexy, flexy, dark-skinned dudes rapping with their shirts off.
Bald,
also not doing a good job. Yeah. 50 Cent, Ja Rule, who else?
Okay. I think it's fair and true to say this. 50 Cent, Ja Rule, bottom. There's a lot of Ja Rules out there. A lot of people took their shirt off and wanted to scream and yell and be a thug and then talk to the ladies. And he did it like straight up. I'm trying to be Tupac, and you're not. Then you got 50 Cent. He's got very real gangster credibility. Yeah. Good songs, hits, but also no longevity in the game as a hip hop artist. 50 Cent's obviously a talented guy, but the albums aren't hitting like that anymore. It's only a couple of them.
It's two.
Literally, like a couple of them. And then you got DMX.
Yes.
The shirt was off. I don't know why I really kept doing that. Tatted up, bald head. I'm a thug. Talk to the ladies crazy. Actually had the hits though. So,
and I also talked
Tupac opened a new lane in the gangster rap. I'm a street poet. He opened that up, and the game flooded with a lot of imitators. And just like with the Jordan Peele phenomenon, it's varying quality.
Yeah, DMX is Kobe Bryant, the best to do it like
the
originator. RP both of them. Thank I did not realize that. RP both of them, Kobe and DMX.
Crazy.
But yeah, your second observation.
Okay, we got Jordan Peele is good is number 1. Number 2 is the reason why you're actually tired of this. And I haven't even seen I haven't seen that much of what you talked about. I watched half of Lovecraft and I just wasn't feeling it. It's just not my type of show. Of course, I've seen all the Jordan Peele joints. Antebellum, Lord have mercy. And I haven't seen Candyman though. And so judging by what I've seen, and I had no clue Candyman was a racial thing in this reiteration. I haven't seen the original either. But regardless, it's like horror films have they have multiple subgenres. And in the subgenres, you've got the Catholic exorcism. Yes. Something having to do with demonology. They got Legion. They got that one where in the catacombs in under Rome or whatever. Yeah. So they've got that kind of vibe, Christendom, mythology. Then you've got the slashers, right? Yes. You got like Supernatural. You got working with Freddy Krueger, get you in your dreams. It's a whole different type of scare. Torture, gruesome stuff like Saw. Found footage. You got all different subgenres, but they all are drawing from different worlds. So you got found footage with witchcraft in
Blair Witch Project.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then you got found footage with the demonology and it's lightweight demon stuff with paranormal activity.
Yes.
So you got two whole different flavors. Whereas when you go to all of these racial horrors, the combination of different tropes and subgenres isn't interesting enough from version to version.
Yeah.
Right. And Jordan Peele, with Get Out, obviously he changed the game. And he really, there's some depth to his metaphor, to his allegory. So, you can look at it this way, you can look at it this way. And he created this whole, mythological fantasy world, horror world. It's not fantasy. Where white people are stealing bodies and they got the super experiment and they've been doing it for decades. Wow. Such detail, such thought.
That's in Lovecraft, though. I don't know if you saw it, got that far.
No, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The build out had so much depth and was well thought out and was condensed into a film that's not too long. That's not a slog to watch. You get it all, when you watch the first time. It's not nothing, that's dense and hard to penetrate. That's not easy to replicate. But they're like, oh, do it again. Hollywood says just green light and garbage. And when you're taking from a template so complex, so well done, it's not gonna work. You're not introducing anything new, right? You're using the same. Oh, it's got to be about race, which means it's about black people, white versus white people, which means you got 400 years of history to draw on, and the same sins repeated over and over again.
And it's not that much. Like 400 years is not that much history. Like if I do the Catholic Church,
I mean, you're going back. I can do Catholic Church here in the U.S.
I can do it in Europe.
I can do colonial U.S. I can do current. I can go to Europe. I can go to Africa. I can go to Asia.
I can go to South America.
Sins committed in the name of the Catholic Church.
I go to South America. There's so many Catholic stories in South America doing.
And they make movies about that. So, you're limiting yourself to such a limited episode in time, limited horrors to explore. And the horrors are so real and like the impact of them so, readily felt. It's not like entertaining.
Yeah.
Like Antebellum isn't like, ooh, like I'm scared. It's like I'm a little perturbed. Like I'm just like watching, like 12 Years a Slave isn't a fun movie.
No,
that's a real slave narrative and like real history, artistic portrayal of a real event. I like that. But you're trying to make something very real and very like visceral pain into like popcorn fare and like, ooh, aren't you mad at white people? Yes, I am. It's not fun. Okay. Yeah, The Exorcist is fun because the little girl's head turns around. Nothing about that hits me right here.
And also, like, another problem. I think it's really hard to make black horror movies because black people just don't do stuff that white people be doing in horror movies.
It doesn't make sense when the decisions start getting made.
So Candyman, so decisions start getting made where he starts doing stuff. And I'm like, nope, because any actual real Negro would be like, oh, a demon? You say his name 5 times in the mirror? We'll never do that. I'm never doing that. I'm never summoning him at all.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do that?
It's a demon. You just told me, so I'll never do it.
Yeah, why would I even play like that? I would say movie, with Shawty, if she came home and started saying, I'm gonna do it in the mirror with you. I never hit a woman for my life. But heads will be thrown. You're not supposed to do that in my house. I don't even believe in demons like that. But I don't know. I don't know.
To play the game.
I like it to play, So
it's always the person who doesn't believe in the demon who just got first.
Yeah. So that's I don't know. Blackness just allows us to be like, nope, I'm not doing that. That's as you say, that's some white people stuff. I'm not supposed to play with that at all. Yeah. And so and also another thing is that the main characters are artists. You know how I feel about artists in movies, writers, artists. They be making me mad the entire time because I'm trying to go for artistic growth. I need to get into Candyman so I can paint. No, you don't. You don't need to do that. Go find another subject. Don't be painting demons. But yeah, so it's getting to the point where it's rinse, wash, repeat, and I'm so done. I'm so done. Making a movie about somebody going to the league.
Pause real quick. Maybe you can slide this in earlier, but it should be noted that all those subgenres that I mentioned do have, like when those groundbreaking films came out, they did have mad copycats. Like found footage got worn all the way out when found footage became poppin' style. Yeah,
well, they get worn out, and I guess found footage got worn out, and they got a resurgence with Paranormal Activity because kind of got people were tired of watching it.
Yeah, for sure.
And on Netflix, you can find a bunch of bad horror movies.
Horrible.
But I'm okay with you like it's our term bastardizing the Catholic Church history and like doing it bad. But like our history,
yeah,
I don't need you to like do Emmett Till bad.
Also, here's the thing. A lot of when you go to the Catholic thing, it's about the complex and Byzantine mythology.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff is about their, evil stuff that they've done around the world. And even then, it's typically done in a way that like makes the Catholic like the evil that's being wrought is a vengeful spirit that's a result of them doing what they did and like killing all these natives, right?
Yes.
But when the black movie, it's just like white people, right? It's like there's no spin. We don't have a mythology because it's literally real. So it's not, you can't be like, oh, it's this demon or it's that demon. Remember Baphomet? What about him? Bro, Willie Lynch. Like, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. So I was watching the movie and I was like, so it's fun as it's suspenseful. It's got some moments where, some scares. But the more I thought about the lore as I was sitting in the seat, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. And I've seen this before. I just sat through Lovecraft. Why are you doing this again? Why are we doing this again? Maybe Jordan Peele's next. And then again, Jordan Peele, I think he's done with that genre. He didn't Get Out. Us is something totally different.
Yeah.
I think he'll have something totally different. Like Us it's like the Body Snatchers movie, but like, flipped and turned. Maybe he'll go to space next. It's like there's so many other things he could do that I think he'll put his teeth into. Because this area has been tapped out.
Yeah, I think he knows. Like the drastic difference between Us and Get Out, as far as like the subject matter and the message behind the movie, he knows that like the race thing can very easily be played out.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to be that guy.
Yeah, and last thing, the thing about King and Peele that I love so much, their race sketches always had a spin at the end that was hilarious. There's a sketch he did where it's like when black guys see other black guys on the street and they talk on the phone, and he started talking harder, and then the guy who immediately walked in thought was a gangster, you find out he's not at all. You know, and so the spin is always important, and that's what Michael Key was talking on a podcast. And he was like, the most important thing for us was never to do what you thought was going to be obvious. Was that every joke, when you're talking about race, the spin has got to be there, or it's just like, aren't white people funny? White guys drive like this.
Right, yeah.
Black guys drive like this. We've already seen that. So you got to do something different, because at that point, I could just watch D.L. Hughley, who's not funny.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, when it's Times Brown,
Irvin Bryant,
peace.
Do it to him,